Commander Lisa Grant pressed her palm against the cold metal wall of Kepler's station and felt the vibrations from another enemy blast. The alien ships had been firing at them for 3 months now, and the walls shook more each day. She looked through the thick glass window at the dark space outside, where dozens of massive alien ships floated, like deadly diamonds in the starlight. Shield strength down to 42%, called out Jake Morrison from his position at the engineering console. His fingers moved quickly over the controls, trying to squeeze more power from systems that were never meant to run this long. Under constant attack, Jake had bags under his eyes, and his uniform was stained with grease from crawling through damaged conduits all night. Lisa walked to the center of the command room, where holographic displays showed the battle situation. Red dots represented the Zephyrian ships that surrounded their station like wolves around wounded prey. The aliens had come from the deep parts of space 3 months ago with their crystal-like warships, and one simple message: humans must die. How many people do we have left? Lisa asked her second-in-command. 47,812, replied Lieutenant Amy Foster, the young communications officer who had been trying to contact Earth since the siege began. We lost another family last night when Section 12 lost air pressure. Lisa closed her eyes for a moment. When she had taken command of Kepler Station 2 years ago, they had 50,000 colonists living and working in the mining facility. The station extracted rare metals from the asteroids in this system, metals that Earth needed for building starships and technology. Now families were dying every day. Earth seemed to have forgotten they existed. Dr. Maya Rodriguez entered the command center, carrying a datapad. The chief scientist looked tired, but her eyes still held the sharp intelligence that had made her famous back on Earth. She had been studying the alien attacks, looking for patterns and weaknesses. "I have bad news," Maya said, setting her data pad on the main console. "The Zephyrians are not just trying to destroy us. They are testing their weapons on us." "What do you mean?" Lisa asked, though part of her already suspected the answer. "Look at this data." Maya pointed to charts and numbers on her pad. They fired different types of energy beams each day. Sometimes they use focused laser bursts, sometimes wide-area particle beams, sometimes something that looks like controlled plasma. They are learning what works best against human shields and armor. Jake stopped working on his console and turned to listen. "You think they are preparing for a bigger attack?" "I think they are preparing to attack Earth," Maya said quietly. "They are using us as test subjects to perfect their weapons before they go after the main human colonies." The room fell silent, except for the steady beeping of warning alarms and the distant rumble of another alien attack hitting their shields. Everyone in the command center understood what this meant. They were not just fighting for their own lives. They were fighting to give Earth time to prepare for what was coming. "Word from Earth?" Lisa asked Amy for the 100th time this week. Amy shook her head. "The aliens are jamming all of our long-range communications. I can send signals, but nothing gets past their interference field. As far as Earth knows, we just went quiet 3 months ago. Maybe Earth thinks we are already dead," Jake said bitterly. "Maybe they wrote us off and moved on." "Earth does not abandon its people," Lisa said firmly, though she had her own doubts. 3 months was a long time, with no contact. How long would Earth wait before assuming Kepler Station was lost? Captain Ben Clark entered the command center wearing his flight suit. His fighter squadron had just returned from another attack, run against the alien ships. Ben was 28 years old with short brown hair and the steady hands of a pilot who had learned to fly in Earth's asteroid fields. "How did it go out there?" Lisa asked. Ben shook his head, same as always. "Hit them with everything we have and barely scratched their armor. Lost 2 more fighters today. Jenkins and Martinez will not be coming home." Lisa felt the familiar weight of command settle on her shoulders. Every pilot who died, every colonist who suffocated when whole sections lost pressure, every child who cried from hunger because their food supplies were running low, she carried all of their lives in her heart. "How many fighters do we have left?" she asked. 18, Ben replied. 18 fighters against 47 alien warships. The math is not good. Through the windows, they could see the alien fleet hanging in space, like a collection of deadly jewels. The Zephyrian ships looked nothing like human vessels. Where human ships were built with metal and straight lines, the alien ships appeared to be grown rather than built. They had smooth curves and surfaces that seemed to shift color in the starlight, beautiful and terrible at the same time. "Dr. Rodriguez," Lisa said, "what do we know about their weapons?" Maya pulled up new displays on her datapad. Their main guns fire concentrated energy beams that seem to draw power from some kind of quantum source. The beams can cut through our best armor like it was paper. They also have smaller weapons that fire bursts of superheated plasma. "Weaknesses?" Ben asked hopefully. "None that I can find," Maya admitted. "Their shields seem to regenerate faster than we can damage them. Their armor is some kind of crystalline material that absorbs and redirects energy. Even when we hit them directly, they repair the damage within hours." Amy suddenly straightened at her communications console. "Wait," she said, pressing her headphones closer to her ears. "I am getting something." Everyone turned to look at her. For 3 months, her console had been silent except for the alien jamming signals. "What is it?" Lisa asked. "It is very faint," Amy said, her fingers dancing over the controls as she tried. "To clean up the signal, something is broadcasting from deep space. Way out past the edge of the system? The aliens?" Jake asked. "No," Amy said, her voice growing excited. "The signal pattern is different. It is not Safarian." Lisa felt her heart start to beat faster. "Can you identify it?" Amy worked for several minutes, running the signal through different filters and amplification systems. The rest of the command crew gathered around her station, hope and fear battling in their faces. "It is human," Amy finally said. "Definitely human. But the encryption is old. Really old. It's like 20 or 30 years old." "That does not make sense," Maya said. "What human ships would be using 30-year-old communication codes?" Lisa stared out the window at the alien fleet. For 3 months. They had believed they were alone. For 3 months they had fought and died thinking that Earth had forgotten them or given them up for lost. Now there was a signal from the darkness. A signal that might mean rescue or might mean nothing at all. "Keep monitoring that signal," she told Amy. "I want to know the moment you can tell me anything more about it." As if responding to their conversation, the alien ships began moving into attack formation again. The Zephyrians attacked twice each day, once in the morning and once in the evening by station time. They were nothing if not predictable. "Here they come again," Ben said, heading for the door. "Time to go pretend our fighters can actually hurt them. Be careful out there." He paused at the door and looked back. "Always am, Commander. Always am." As Ben left to lead his pilots into another hopeless battle, Lisa continued to stare at the alien fleet. Somewhere out in the darkness, something human was approaching. She just hoped it would arrive before there was nothing left of Kepler's station to save. The signal from deep space grew stronger each day, but it brought fear as much as hope to Kepler's station. Amy Foster spent every waking hour at her communications console, trying to make sense of the garbled transmissions that came from the darkness. Beyond the alien fleet, still nothing clear, she reported to Commander Lisa Grant during the morning briefing. "The signal is definitely getting closer, but whoever is sending it is using some kind of stealth technology. You can barely detect them even when they transmit." Security Chief Dan Parker stood with his arms crossed near the main display. He was a big man with gray hair and scars on his hands from 20 years of keeping order in mining colonies. "Could be more aliens," he said in his deep voice. "Could be Zephyrian reinforcements coming to finish us off." Lisa looked at the tactical display showing their situation. The alien fleet still surrounded them in the same formation they had held for weeks. 47 massive crystal ships pointing their weapons at Kepler Station like a firing squad waiting for orders. "What does your gut tell you, Amy?" Lisa asked. "Friend or enemy?" Amy paused her work and thought carefully. She was only 24 years old, but she had been working with communication systems since she was 16. "The transmission patterns feel human," she said finally, "but they are using codes I have never seen before. Really old military encryption that predates the colony ships." Lieutenant Kate Sullivan looked up from her intelligence station. Kate was thin and pale from spending too much time studying alien communications and battle patterns. She had dark circles under her eyes, but her mind was still sharp. "I have been researching those old codes," she said. "The encryption signatures match some classified Earth Defense Force protocols from 25 years ago." "That is impossible," said Jake Morrison from his engineering station. 25 years ago, humans barely had ships that could reach. The outer planets definitely did not have anything that could travel to other star systems. Kate pulled up files on her screen. "That is what the public records say. But I found some references in the deep archives. There were rumors about secret military projects in the early days of space colonization, black budget programs that officially never existed." Dr. Maya Rodriguez entered the command center carrying her usual datapad and a cup of synthetic coffee. "Any progress on identifying our mystery visitors?" "Maybe," Lisa said. "Kate thinks they might be some kind of secret Earth military unit." Maya raised her eyebrows. "Secret enough that even the colonial administration never heard of them?" "That would require a massive cover-up. A very good reason to stay hidden," Kate said quietly, before anyone could respond. Alarms began blaring throughout the station. The main display shifted to show the alien fleet moving into attack formation. It was earlier than usual for their morning assault. "All fighters to launch positions," Lisa announced over the station-wide communication system. "This is not a drill." "Ben." Clark's voice came through the speakers from the fighter bay. "Copy that, Commander. All pilots are ready for launch." Through the thick windows of the command center, you could see the alien ships beginning to glow as they charged their weapons. The Zephyrian vessels were beautiful in a deadly way, their crystalline hulls reflecting light like giant prisms floating in space. "Shields to maximum power," Lisa ordered. "Already there," Jake replied, his hands moving quickly over his controls. "But we are down to 38% strength. If they hit us as hard as they did yesterday, we might not survive this attack." First alien energy beams struck Kepler Station with tremendous force. The entire structure shook and lights flickered throughout the command center. Emergency systems activated automatically, sealing hull breaches and rerouting power from damaged sections. "Section 7 has lost atmosphere," reported Amy, monitoring station systems between her attempts to track the mysterious signal. "Emergency. Bulkheads are holding, or alien weapons fired, turning space around the station into a light show of deadly energy." Ben and his fighters launched from the station's small hangar bay, their tiny ships darting between the massive alien vessels. "Like angry insects?" "Ben, concentrate your fire on the lead ship's weapon ports," Lisa instructed over the radio. "Copy that," Ben replied. "But you know, these things repair themselves faster than we can damage them." Dr. Maya watched the battle through her scientific instruments. "The aliens are using different weapons today," she observed. "Those are not the same energy signatures we have been seeing? More testing?" Lisa asked. "Definitely. They're trying new weapon configurations. This confirms my theory that they are preparing for a larger campaign." The station shook again as another alien beam struck their shields. Warning lights flashed red throughout the command center, and the smell of burned electronics filled the air. "Shield strength down to 22%, Jake announced. "I do not know how much more we can take." That was when Amy suddenly straightened at her console. "Commander," she said urgently. "The signal just got much stronger. Whatever is out there is getting close." "Can you make out any words?" Kate asked, moving to look over Amy's shoulder. Amy adjusted her controls, filtering out the alien jamming signals and boosting the incoming transmission. Static filled the speakers, broken by fragments of what might have been human voices. Double quotes, ... "Pierce of the Earth Defense. We are the Ghost Fleet." Everyone in the command center froze. Even with the battle raging outside and their shields failing, all attention focused on Amy's speakers. "Ghost Fleet," Maya repeated. "What does that mean?" Amy worked frantically to clean up the signal. ... "We do not abandon our own." He'll repeat, "We do not abandon our own." "Admiral Pierce," Kate said thoughtfully. "I do not recognize that name from any Earth Defense Force records." "Because he's not supposed to exist," Don Parker said grimly. "None of them are supposed to exist." Another massive impact shook the station. Through the windows, they could see that one of Ben's fighters had been hit. The small ship tumbled through space, trailing atmosphere and debris. "Martinez is down," Ben reported over the radio. His ship is dead in space. Can you reach him? Lisa asked. Negative? Too much enemy fire? We cannot get close enough for a rescue. Lisa watched helplessly as the damaged fighter drifted toward the alien fleet. This was how they lost people every day, one by one, piece by piece, until nothing would be left. Commander Amy called out. I am getting something else. The transmission is clearing up. The static on the speakers began to fade, replaced by a clear human voice speaking with military precision. Kepler Station, this is Admiral Ryan Pierce commanding Task Force Phantom. We have been monitoring your situation. Hold your position. Help is coming. Task Force Phantom? Maya asked. Never. Heard of it? Because you were not supposed to, Kate said, her face pale as she stared at her intelligence files. If I am right about what this is, then Earth has been keeping secrets for a very long time. The alien attack continued, but now there was something different in the air of the command center. For 3 months, they had fought alone. For 3 months, they had believed Earth had forgotten them. Now there was a voice from the darkness promising that help was coming. Admiral Pierce, Lisa spoke into her communication system. This is Commander Lisa Grant of Kepler Station. We are under heavy attack and our shields are failing. How long? Until you reach us. Static filled the speakers for a long moment. Then the voice returned, cold and professional. Commander Grant, we are already here. We have been watching this battle for 2 weeks, studying enemy tactics and gathering intelligence. The Zephyrians are about to learn why Earth does not negotiate with species that practice genocide. Amy's instrument suddenly detected massive energy signatures appearing at the edge of the star system. Whatever was coming was big, very big. How many ships? Lisa asked into the radio. Enough, Admiral Pierce replied. Stand by, Kepler Station. The cavalry has arrived. The space around Kepler Station suddenly filled with massive shadows as ships began appearing from nowhere. Commander Lisa Grant stared through the command center windows in amazement as vessel after vessel materialized out of empty space like ghosts becoming solid. How many ships is that? Jake Morrison asked, his voice filled with wonder as he watched the impossible sight unfold. Amy Foster checked her sensors and shook her head in disbelief. 20-7... No, 30-1... The numbers keep climbing. They are just appearing, out of nothing. The ships that emerged from the darkness were unlike anything the colonists had ever seen. Where human vessels were usually white or silver, these were painted deep black that seemed to swallow light. Their hulls were covered with strange angles and surfaces that made them hard to focus on, as if the eye wanted to slide away from looking at them directly. Oh, those are stealth ships, Lieutenant Kate Sullivan said quietly. Advanced stealth technology that we were told did not exist. The largest ship that appeared was massive beyond belief. It was easily twice the size of the biggest Zephyrian vessel and shaped like a blade pointed at the alien fleet. Along its dark hull, words were painted in white letters. USS Vengeance, USS Vengeance, Dr. Maya Rodriguez read aloud. I have never heard of that ship class before? 'Cause it was never supposed to exist, Kate replied, pulling up classified files on her screen. According to these documents, the Earth Defense Force has been building secret warships for 20 years. Ships that officially were never constructed, crewed by people who officially died in training accidents. Admiral Pierce's voice came through the communication system again, clearer now that his ship was closer. Kepler Station, this is Admiral Ryan Pierce aboard the USS Vengeance. We are taking command of this engagement. All station personnel are to remain in secure positions while we deal with the alien threat. Lisa activated her communication system. Admiral Pierce, we have 18 fighters still in combat. Should we recall them? Negative, Commander Grant. Your fighters are to continue their current attack patterns. We want the aliens focused on targets they can see while we position our forces. Through the windows, they could see more black ships appearing around the alien fleet. No. Some were smaller vessels that looked like destroyers or cruisers. Others were massive carriers that launched. Swarms of fighters with the same dark coloring as their mother ships. Look at the names on these ships, Amy said, reading from her sensors. US Reaper, USS Nightmare, USS Death's Head, USS Phantom. These are not normal military ship names. They are not a normal military unit, Kate said grimly.
My research
Is correct. These ships and crews operate outside normal Earth Defense Force command structure. They answer only to the highest levels of Earth government. One of the smaller black ships, identified as USS Phantom, suddenly appeared directly behind the Zephyrian formation. Captain Nicole Evans commanded the stealth destroyer from her bridge, watching as her tactical officer, Commander Alex Turner, prepared their special weapons. Target the lead alien vessel, Nicole ordered. Quantum torpedoes, full spread. Quantum torpedoes armed and ready, Alex replied. Firing now. The USS Phantom fired weapons that seemed to bend space around them. The torpedoes did not travel through space like normal missiles. Instead, they seemed to phase in and out of reality, passing through the alien shields as if they were not there at all. The lead Zephyrian ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light as the quantum torpedoes struck its hull directly. The alien vessel, which had seemed invincible just moments before, broke apart like glass struck by a hammer. Direct hit, Alex reported calmly. Enemy vessel destroyed. Aboard Kepler Station, everyone in the command center watched in shock as the alien ship that had been bombarding them for months simply ceased to exist. How did they do that? Maya asked. Those shields were impenetrable. Quantum torpedoes phase through normal matter, Kate explained, reading from classified technical documents. They exist in multiple dimensions at once, allowing them to bypass any kind of shield or armor. The alien fleet began to panic as more of their ships exploded around them. The Zephyrians had never faced weapons that could ignore their defenses. Their crystalline vessels, which had seemed so powerful against human colonial ships, were helpless against Earth's secret technology. Admiral Vextar, commanding the Zephyrian fleet from his flagship, broadcast desperate orders to his ships. The alien commander could not understand how the humans had suddenly gained such advanced weapons. His intelligence reports had said that Earth's military technology was decades behind Zephyrian capabilities. All ships fall back to defensive formation, Vextar ordered in his musical alien language. "You're facing unknown human technology." But the Shadow Fleet had no intention of allowing the aliens to regroup. The USS Vengeance fired its main weapon, a gravity cannon that created miniature black holes. The weapon struck 3 Zephyrian ships at once, tearing them apart at the molecular level. Target destroyed, reported the weapons officer aboard the Vengeance. No debris remaining. From another direction, the assault carrier USS Warhammer launched boarding pods toward the alien ships. Colonel Maria Santos led her Marines in powered armor that allowed them to survive in the vacuum of space. The boarding pods struck Zephyrian holes like bullets, drilling through the crystalline armor and depositing human soldiers inside enemy vessels. "Marines away," Colonel Santos reported over the radio. "Beginning boarding operations." The Zephyrian crews had never fought humans in close combat before. Their species had evolved from peaceful herbivores and had only developed weapons for space warfare. They were not prepared for the savage intensity of human soldiers fighting to protect their families. Ben Clark and his remaining fighters found themselves in the strange position of watching enemy ships explode all around them without firing a shot. The black human ships moved through space like deadly shadows, appearing and disappearing as their stealth systems activated and deactivated. "This is amazing," Ben said over the radio to his fellow pilots. "Where did these ships come from?" "Does it matter?" replied his wingman. "They are on our side and they are winning." Admiral Pierce watched the battle from the bridge of the USS Vengeance. He was 55 years old with gray hair and cold blue eyes that had seen too many classified operations. For 20 years, he had commanded the Shadow Fleet in absolute secrecy, preparing for the day when Earth would face a threat that required weapons the public could never know about. "Status report," he ordered his tactical officer. 17. "Enemy vessels destroyed, Admiral. No damage to our forces. The aliens are attempting to retreat." "Negative," Pierce said firmly. "No survivors. This engagement never happened, and the Zephyrians must not be allowed to report our capabilities to their empire." The USS Reaper deployed its most secret weapon, nanite swarms that could consume matter at the molecular level. The tiny machines spread through space like a silver cloud, reaching the fleeing alien ships and beginning to dissolve them atom by atom, Captain. Sarah Keem watched from the bridge of the USS Reaper as Zephyrian vessels simply vanished as the nanites consumed them. The alien crews died instantly as their ships ceased to exist around them. "Nanite deployment successful," she reported. Enemy vessels consumed. Aboard Kepler Station, Dr. Maya Rodriguez stared at her instruments in disbelief. "The alien ships are just disappearing," she said. "Not exploding, not breaking apart. They are just ceasing to exist." "Molecular disintegration weapons," Kate said quietly. "Earth has been developing technology that breaks down matter at the atomic level." Lisa Grant felt a mixture of relief and fear as she watched the battle. Relief that her people were finally safe after 3 months of terror. Fear of what it meant that Earth had been secretly building such terrible weapons. "Admiral Pierce," she said into her communication system. "The colonists want to know who you are and where you came from." Pierce's voice came back cold and professional. "We are the Shadow Fleet, Commander Grant. We are the ships that do not exist, crewed by us people who are officially dead. We protect Earth from threats that the regular military cannot handle." "How long have you been out here?" 20 years, Commander. 20 years of watching and waiting for someone to threaten human space with genocide. Today the Zephyrians learned why that was a mistake. The battle turned into a massacre as Earth's Shadow Fleet unleashed 20 years of human anger and ingenuity against the alien invaders. Admiral Vexstar watched in horror from his flagship as his mighty fleet crumbled under weapons that seemed to break the laws of physics. How are they doing this? Vexstar demanded of his science officer. The alien commander's crystalline skin had turned pale blue with fear as he watched another group of his ships simply vanish into nothing. "Unknown, Admiral," the science officer replied in their musical language. "Their weapons ignore our shields completely. Our armor provides no protection against these new human technologies." On the bridge of the USS Vengeance, Admiral Ryan Pierce studied the tactical display with cold satisfaction. His gray eyes showed no emotion as he watched Zephyrian ships die by the dozens. For 3 months, these aliens had tortured innocent human colonists. Now they would learn the price of that cruelty. "Target the alien command ship," Pierce ordered his weapons officer. "Gravity cannon, maximum power." "Gravity cannon charged and ready, Admiral." "Fire." The USS Vengeance's main weapon created a sphere of twisted space-time that shot toward Admiral Vexter's flagship. The gravity cannon warped reality itself, creating forces that no alien technology could resist. When the weapon struck the Zephyrian command ship, the massive vessel folded in on itself like paper being crumpled by an invisible hand. "Commander." Lisa Grant watched from Kepler Station as the alien flagship collapsed into a ball of crushed metal and crystal. The ship that had led the siege against her people for 3 months was gone in seconds, taking Admiral Vexstar and his entire crew with it. "Direct hit on the alien command vessel," Amy Foster reported from her communications station. "Ship has been completely destroyed." Jake Morrison shook his head in amazement. "I have never seen weapons like these. Where did Earth get this technology?" Lieutenant Kate Sullivan pulled up more classified files on her screen. According to these documents, Earth has been secretly studying captured alien technology for decades. They have been preparing for this kind of war since before the first colony ships left Earth. Captain Nicole Evans commanded the USS Phantom as it phased in and out of normal space, appearing behind alien ships to deliver killing blows with quantum torpedoes. Her tactical officer, Commander Alex Turner, coordinated the attacks with mathematical precision, ensuring that no enemy vessel had time to adapt to their tactics. 3 more targets destroyed, Alex reported calmly. "Enemy formation is collapsing." "Good," Nicole replied. "Continue firing. No alien ship leaves this system alive." The USS Phantom fired another spread of quantum torpedoes. The weapons phased through space-time itself, bypassing the alien shields and striking the crystal hulls directly. 3 more Zephyrian vessels exploded in brilliant flashes of light. Colonel Maria Santos led her Marines through the corridors of a captured alien ship. Her powered armor allowed her to move through the crystalline passages like a walking tank, her weapons cutting down any Zephyrians who tried to resist. Deck 3 secured, she reported over the radio. Moving to the engine room, Zephyrian. Crew members cowered in terror as the human soldiers advanced through their ship. The aliens had never seen such aggressive close combat tactics. Their own species had evolved from peaceful herbivores and had no experience with the savage warfare that humans had perfected over thousands of years. Dr. Paul Henderson, the Shadow Fleet's chief intelligence officer, monitored the boarding operations from the USS Warhammer. His job was to ensure that no alien technology or data survived to tell the Zephyrian Empire about Earth's secret capabilities. All alien computer systems are to be destroyed, he ordered the boarding teams. No data can be allowed to survive. This engagement. The human Marines carried special weapons designed to destroy alien technology at the molecular level. As they moved through the captured ships, they systematically eliminated every piece of equipment that might contain information about the battle. Ben Clark flew his fighter alongside the Shadow Fleet's advanced interceptors, finally able to fight back effectively against the aliens who had terrorized his home for months. The black human fighters moved like deadly shadows, their stealth systems making them nearly invisible until they opened fire. "This is incredible," Ben said over the radio to his wingman. "These new fighters are faster and more maneuverable than anything I have ever seen. And their weapons actually hurt the alien ships," his wingman replied. "For the first time in 3 months, we are winning." The Zephyrian fleet, which had seemed invincible just hours before, was being systematically destroyed. Their crystalline ships, designed to fight against conventional human weapons, had no defense against technology that operated on principles they did not understand. Captain Sarah Kim watched from the bridge of the USS Reaper as her nanite swarms continued to consume fleeing alien vessels. The tiny machines worked with terrifying efficiency, breaking down the crystalline hulls atom by atom until nothing remained but empty space. "Nanite deployment successful on targets 7 through 12, she reported to Admiral Pierce. "All enemy vessels in Sector 4 have been eliminated." Dr. Maya Rodriguez monitored the battle from Kepler Station, her scientific instruments recording data on weapons that should not have existed. "The energy signatures from these human ships are unlike anything in our databases," she told Commander Grant. "They are using technologies that are decades ahead of what we thought was possible." "How long has Earth been keeping secrets like this?" Lisa asked. "According to the classified files Kate found, at least 25 years, Maya replied. "Maybe longer." The Shadow Fleet represents a technological leap that required massive resources and absolute secrecy. The remaining Zephyrian ships attempted to flee the battle, but the Shadow Fleet had surrounded the entire system. Admiral Pierce had planned this engagement carefully, ensuring that no alien vessel would escape to warn their empire about Earth's true military capabilities. "All escape routes are blocked," reported the tactical officer aboard the USS Vengeance. "Enemy ships have nowhere to run." "Excellent," Pierce replied. "Begin the final phase. I want every alien ship destroyed within the next 10 minutes. The USS Death's Head deployed its signature weapon, a particle beam that could tear apart matter. At the quantum level, the massive destroyer fired at a group of fleeing Zephyrian ships. They simply disintegrated as their atomic bonds were severed. Commander Alex Turner coordinated the final assault from the USS Phantom. His tactical display showed the positions of every remaining alien ship and the optimal firing solutions to destroy them all simultaneously. "All Shadow Fleet vessels. This is Phantom Actual," he announced over the command frequency. "Prepare for synchronized strike. Fire on my mark." The surviving Zephyrian commanders broadcast desperate surrender messages, offering to withdraw from human space and never return. But Admiral Pierce had been monitoring their communications for months. He knew about their plans to use human prisoners for biological experiments. He knew about their intention to exterminate all human colonies. "Admiral Pierce," Commander Grant called from Kepler Station. "The aliens are trying to surrender." Pierce's voice came back cold and final. "There will be no surrender, Commander. These aliens came to our space with the intention of committing genocide against human civilians. They will not be given the opportunity to try again." The synchronized strike began as every Shadow Fleet vessel fired at once. Gravity cannons, quantum torpedoes, Particle beams, nanite swarms struck the remaining Zephyrian ships simultaneously. The aliens had no time to scream before their vessels were torn apart by forces beyond their comprehension. In less than 10 minutes, the entire Zephyrian fleet was destroyed. 47 alien warships that had terrorized Kepler Station for 3 months were reduced to scattered atoms floating in space. Not a single enemy vessel survived to carry word of the battle back to the Zephyrian Empire. Admiral Agrees stood on the bridge of the USS Vengeance and surveyed the empty space where the alien fleet had been. For 20 years he had prepared for this moment. For 20 years, Earth had built weapons in secret and trained crews who officially did not exist. Today, that investment had paid off in the complete destruction of humanity's enemies. Battle concluded, he announced to his fleet. All targets eliminated, no survivors. The space around Kepler Station fell silent for the first time in 3 months, or once dozens of alien warships had filled the darkness with their threatening presence. Now there was only empty void scattered with drifting particles of destroyed. Crystal and Metal Commander Lisa Grant stood in the command center, hardly believing what she had witnessed. In less than 2 hours, Earth's secret shadow fleet had completely destroyed an alien armada that had seemed invincible. The Zephyrian ships that had terrorized her people for months were simply gone, reduced to atoms floating in space. All alien vessels confirmed destroyed, Amy Foster reported from her communications station. I am not detecting any Zephyrian life signs or active technology in the entire system. Dr. Maya Rodriguez checked her scientific instruments again, still unable to fully comprehend the weapon she had observed. The energy signatures have returned to normal background levels, she said. Whatever those human ships used, they left no residual radiation or exotic particles behind. Jake Morrison wiped sweat from his forehead as he began powering down the station's emergency systems. Shield generators are stable, he announced. We can begin repairs to the damaged sections through the thick windows of the command center. They could see the Shadow Fleet's black ships holding position around Kepler Station. The vessels seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, making them difficult to see even when they were not using their stealth technology. Admiral Ryan Pierce's voice came through the communication system, as cold and professional as ever. Kepler Station, this is Admiral Pierce. We are conducting final sweeps of the system to ensure no alien technology or survivors remain. Understood, Admiral, Lisa replied. What about our people who were taken prisoner during the siege? There was a long pause before Pierce responded. There were no prisoners, Commander Grant. The Zephyrians do not take prisoners. They conduct biological experiments on captured humans until the subjects die. We monitored their communications for months. A chill ran through the command center as everyone understood what that meant. The colonists who had been captured during alien boarding actions were already dead, tortured to death in alien laboratories. Lieutenant Kate Sullivan looked up from her intelligence station with a grim expression. The classified files confirm it, she said quietly. The Zephyrian Empire views all non-Zephyrian species as experimental subjects. They have been conducting genetic research on captured aliens for centuries. Dr. Paul Henderson, the Shadow Fleet's intelligence chief, worked aboard the USS Warhammer to analyze the data recovered from destroyed alien ships. His teams had recovered fragments of Zephyrian computers and communication systems before the nanites consumed them completely. The aliens were definitely preparing for a larger invasion, he reported to Admiral Pierce. Their communications reference a fleet of over 300 ships gathering in the Zephyrian home system. Pierce nodded grimly. How long before they expect this fleet to report back? 6 months, Admiral? When this fleet fails to return, the Zephyrians will know something happened here, but they will not know what. That was exactly what Pierce had planned. The Shadow Fleet operated under a simple principle. Enemies of humanity must be eliminated completely. But Earth's true military capabilities must remain secret. The galaxy needed to believe that humans were still weak and defenseless. Captain Nicole Evans brought the USS Phantom alongside a drifting piece of Zephyrian wreckage. Her science teams used specialized equipment to scan the debris for any remaining alien technology or data storage devices. Nothing recoverable, she reported. The nanite swarms consumed all active technology. What remains is just raw crystalline material with no information value. Commander Alex Turner coordinated the final cleanup operations from his tactical station. All Shadow Fleet vessels report successful elimination of alien technology. No evidence of this engagement will survive. For enemy analysis, Colonel Maria Santos and her Marines completed their sweep of the alien ships they had boarded. Her soldiers carried special weapons designed to destroy any biological samples or research data the Zephyrians might have collected during their months of siege. All alien research materials have been eliminated, she reported. Teams found extensive biological laboratories aboard the enemy vessels. The aliens were definitely using human prisoners for genetic experiments. Ben Clark flew his fighter on patrol around the outer edge of the system, making sure no alien escape pods or small vessels had managed to flee the battle. His instruments showed only empty space and the distant glow of stars. Perimeter is clear, he reported.
Ow.
No contacts beyond the Shadow Fleet.
Ow.
The black ships of Admiral Pierce's fleet began to move into departure formation.
Ow.
Their mission was complete, and it was time to return to the hidden bases, where they had spent 20 years preparing for this war. Admiral Pierce, Lisa called over the communication system. The people of Kepler Station want to thank you. You saved all of our lives. We did our job, Commander Grant, Pierce replied. Earth does not abandon its people, but you must understand that this engagement never happened. The Shadow Fleet does not exist in any official records. What should we tell Earth when we re-establish communication? Tell them the truth, but not the whole truth. Tell them you were attacked by aliens and that you fought them off using the station's defenses and fighter squadrons.
Tell them.
Alien fleet was destroyed, but do not mention how. Dr. Maya Rodriguez understood the implications. You want the galaxy to continue believing that humans are militarily weak? Exactly, Pierce confirmed. As long as potential enemies believe Earth has only basic defensive capabilities, they will underestimate us. That gives us a tremendous strategic advantage. Captain Sarah Kim prepared the USS Reaper for departure, her nanite weapons safely contained in their storage systems. Admiral, what about the Zephyrian home fleet that intelligence discovered? We will deal with them when they come looking for this missing fleet, Pierce answered. The Shadow Fleet will be ready. The USS Vengeance began to activate its stealth systems, slowly fading from visible sight as its hull absorbed electromagnetic radiation. One by one, the other black ships followed suit until the Shadow Fleet became invisible against the starfield. This is Admiral Pierce with a final message for Kepler Station, came the voice from the fading ships. You have shown courage and determination during this siege. Earth is proud of its colonists, who refuse to surrender, even when faced with impossible odds. Thank you, Admiral, Lisa replied. Will we see you again? The Shadow Fleet goes where it is needed, Commander. We are the Watchers in the darkness, the guardians that protect human space from threats that the regular military cannot handle. You will not see us again unless humanity faces another existential threat. Jake Morrison restored full power to Kepler Station's communication systems, preparing to send word to Earth about their survival. Long-range communications are back online, he announced. You can contact Earth whenever you are ready, Commander. Lisa looked around the command center at her tired but victorious crew. Amy Foster was already preparing status reports for transmission to Earth. Kate Sullivan was securing the classified information they had learned about the Shadow Fleet. Maya Rodriguez was documenting the alien attack for scientific analysis. Send the message to Earth, Lisa ordered. Tell them Kepler Station has survived alien attack and the threat has been eliminated. Tell them we are ready to resume mining operations. As the communication beam shot across space toward Earth carrying news of their survival, the last of the Shadow Fleet vessels disappeared completely from sight. Admiral Pierce and his ghost ships returned to the void between stars. Waiting for the next time humanity would need defenders that officially did not exist, the siege of Kepler Station was over. The colonists had survived their 3-month nightmare. But they now knew a secret that would change how they viewed Earth forever. Somewhere in the darkness, hidden fleets of impossible ships crewed by officially dead. People protected human space from enemies that wanted to destroy them. The galaxy believed humanity was weak and defenseless. Admiral Pierce intended to keep it that way until the day came when Earth's enemies would learn the terrible truth about human determination and human technology. On that day, the Shadow Fleet would emerge from the darkness once again, and humanity's enemies would discover why Earth never abandoned its people.